boom. Good fam, every Monday. Yeah. Shout out a private name, private number, featuring Rochester, Selena. This album is called Terminal 3, man. You can check that out on Spotify, man. Private name, private number, featuring Rochester. Baby, you fly on it, won't you be my honey? Want you to rock on it, you know what yeah, you good fam, every Monday. Yeah, private name, private number, featuring Rochester, man. Terminal 3. Love to promote local artists, local talent. Big up, big up, big up. Yes, sir, man. Brother Symbolic.
Yo, yo.
Yeah, here, man. How's the virtual space coming along, man? We digital, man. We digital.
Yeah, this shit is crazy, man. We're living in crazy times. I mean, just me right now sending an invite for this.
Absolutely.
You know, imagine when we were, I don't know, teens or something. This would be like some magic shit, some inconceivable abilities.
Yeah, man. I mean, a lot of our distribution was like hand to hand, like in person, and now we can just like click a couple buttons, and you know what I mean. That awareness just goes where it needs to go. So that's what's up. You know what? I'm gonna do the same as we get on with this. I just want to big up everybody who is coming through, man, joining us every Monday on You Good Fam weekly check-in. I also recently discovered that I can, where does it go? There's a way that I can add, I think that, you know what? I might have to done that before or prior. Yeah, because there was a way to like add like the topic to like the headline chat or whatever. But either way, it's all good. You already know what it is, man. Big up to everyone coming through. Meso Weekly Check-In, Grand Rising. Big up, Seed of the Soul. Yeah, man. We're going to get in it today, man. Today's topic is infidelity, man. This was brought to you by Brother Kemya, who I'm sure will be joining us shortly. And you know, it's a delicate topic. You know what I mean? It's a topic that is ancient. You know, it's not a new topic, but it's definitely something that you know I feel requires a lot of care because it can bring up like a lot of emotions and personal experiences and things of that nature, man. So that's what's up. But you know, I mean, we'll get a couple more seconds for people to come through and join us, man. So our weekly check-in, You Good Fam, every Monday right here on SFA Community, hosted by myself, Logic, with Symbolic and Kemya. You know what I mean? And sometimes we have other peoples as well. And I just want to extend this invitation to those in the chat, especially, you know, if you are you know, female. It would be nice to have a female perspective in this dialogue as well. So if you feel comfortable, you know, send us a quick invite and we'll add you onto the conversation, because everything that SFA does, we like to keep it community-driven, community-based. And, you know what I mean? We're all experts of our own experiences, right? So I don't want to give off this impression that, you know, it's just us. You know what I mean? This is everybody. It's an everybody thing. You know what I mean? Traditions of Sankofa, traditions of Ubuntu, you know, like all of that, man. You know what I mean? Keeping it rooted in Africa, where it's like, you know, we build off of each other and support each other. You know, we got to build each other up and not bring each other down. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, I guess we can, you know, maybe get some check-ins for those who are in the chat. Let us know how you're feeling on a scale from 1 to 10. 1 being not so great, 10 being amazing. Put that number down there so we can include you. You know, in these digital virtual spaces, I realize the importance of like being inclusive and you know, keeping the energy flowing. You know, we like to feed off of your energy as much as you all feeding off of ours. You know what I mean? So let's keep that going. So let us know in the chat right now, man, what number you at. You know, between 1 and 10, and if you want to express why, also feel so to do so. Make sure to read all the comments. Big up to everyone. You know what I'm saying? So I know, Symbolic, man. What you got, man? What you got?
All right. You know, you know how it goes. Just sending those invites, but I am done. I'm present. I'm with you.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, yo, I had an interesting story. I'll tell
Uh,
it to you in a bit, but it's to do with like the Zulu chief, and it came to mind because of the subject being proposed, infidelity. It wasn't quite an infidelity thing, I guess, but it had to do with multiple wives, which is uh, legitimate, legal, and acceptable in
yeah,
that cultural worldview.
yeah.
So, anyways, we can jump back. But right now, the check-in, man, I'd say I'm a 7. I'm a 7 right off the.
Man,
Yeah, like I got up early, but I was all low energy and so forth. But so I'm grateful for this community we have here. For it's like, yo, this thing it's happening every week. It's happening. So it's anchoring. So I'm gonna say 7. How you feeling?
okay. That's what's up, man. Yeah, every week, and I realize the power of consistency. You know what I mean? Like us just doing this. I can't remember what number we're at. I think we're at like 33 weeks or something like that. You know what I mean? Which is just shy of almost a year. So I don't know, man. Might have to do some kind of celebration or something like that. I'm not sure what that looks like, but I want to big up all those people who've been like running with us and joining us. For the time being. What's going on, y'all? If y'all are just joining us and now, man, this is the weekly check-in, you good fam, every Mondays. Today's topic is infidelity, man. So, like I said, I know it's a sensitive topic. It brings up a lot of emotions. It's an ancient topic, but, we're going to handle this with care through empathy and compassion and, try to find some understanding. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is the motive. So we're going to get into that. Let me look here. We see some check-ins. I see... You see, Anansi Creation saying Grand Rising Brothers and everyone in the live. Salute, man. No regular here on the Monday check-ins. Salute. Seed of Soul says extending the invitation for compassion, empathy, and love as you undertake this subject matter. Absolutely. That's what it is, man. This is the new community that we're trying to build. I think we come from a culture where it's like all about tearing each other down and this and that. But like, how could we really build each other up and support each other through the challenges that we may face, so big up to that perspective and adding on the energies received and felt. Thank you very much. Seed of Soul goes on to say, feeling divine to design. I love that, man. Divine to design. Okay. 10 and above, man. So, top of the morning, Monday vibes, feeling all right. Charmin, big up Charmin. That's one of our students from our virtual classes on Thursday. Appreciate y'all coming through. Feeling out of 5. I'm seeing the stories on Insta and it's snowing, and it's not snowing in Toronto. Actually, I'm a little excited for snow. Oh, okay. I thought this was going to go in the direction of like, oh no, the snow is coming. I'm not feeling it. But I'm the same way. I actually like the snow because I'm someone who has like different layers of clothing to wear. I've learned over time, and it's funny, I've lived in Toronto all my life, but I've learned in recent times, like in the last like 5 years or so, like how to dress appropriately for the weather. And that might have to be a topic as the weather is getting colder. I'm going to give you all like a list of things that you need, the essentials. But it makes a big difference. You can really enjoy the winter. I'm someone who goes skating a lot with my kids and whatnot, so I'm like always outside. So I'm looking forward to that because when the snow comes, that means the ice rinks are going to be open and we're ready for it. So yeah, snow is cool. We got to learn how to adjust. Anansi Creation says that they are at a 7. I see Rich Mill is at an 8. Big up, man. Big up King Spade coming through. I see Seed of Soul saying full embodiment rises the energy. Yes, absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. And King Spade's coming through saying grand rising, man, to the global and righteous here's to the earth and beyond. I hope all is well with you and yours. Yes, man. Big up to the brother that, man. Like, we appreciate this community that we're creating. And as things move forward with the metaverse and all this kind of stuff, I think we're already ahead of the curve. But we'll save that for another day, though. We won't even get into that right now. One topic at a time. Hold on. We got one more. I see a Nazi creation saying that I lived in Nunavut for 2 years. It's all about proper gear for the cold. Oh, so you already know. If you're like way up over there, you already done know, man. You have no choice, man, but to learn. As my grandfather used to always say, man, who don't hear must feel. So that's what's up, man. Yes, big up for the contributions. All right, man. I guess I'll jump in my check-in. I'm feeling like an 8. You know what I mean? Like, You know, Mondays are like my new favorite days. Like I used to always dread Mondays, but I think these check-ins just kind of like have created something in me, something to like look forward to and to like commit to and just to bring that community energy. It really gets me flowing. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it just kind of like sets the pace for the rest of the week because I have a bunch of different like virtual programs and then different lives that I do and whatnot. So this kind of just like sets the tone and it gets me like thinking about how to plan my week, you know, as opposed to letting my week just happen to me. So so big up to that, man. I see everybody coming through. So yeah, man, I'm feeling blessed. If you're just joining us, please let us know how you're feeling on a scale from 1 to 10. This is our weekly check-in Monday. You good fam, today's topic is infidelity. But before we get into that, we want to make sure that everybody adds on and contribute. So please jump in and let us know how you're feeling because we like to run this as a community vibe. Like, you know, even if you're in the chat, you're still considered a facilitator to us, you know, so you're all part of it. So please feel free to jump in and add on. And like I said, man, if you would like to join the conversation, especially if you're a female would be nice to have some balanced energy. If you want to jump in, that would be really peace on this perspective. Because you know we usually have a lot of male energy here, but you know if you want to add on, hey man, no pressure. It's always welcome though, man. So big up. I see some more people jumping in. I don't know if you want to get that.
Sorry?
Yeah, there's some more. I see some more comments. If you want to just jump in and get that.
Okay, I just wanted to give a shout out. T Fanny jumped in. Big ups. Anand's creation, right? Anand's creation. Yes, this space has definitely helped me embrace Mondays more. Yeah, me too. Believe me.
Yes.
King Spade, I'm a 10 today. Word. Good word to that.
Boom, boom, boom.
Raise us all up. Good morning, Emperors. I'm at about 7 right now, RN, and that is Team T Fanny. All right, thank you. And hello, Empress Lady Vividly. Is she in the house? Yes, they're in the house. The cool shades.
Okay.
And the Jose, I'll just leave it at that, is 7.333.
Okay, that's I'm into numerology, man. So that 333 got my attention right there. And again, that might have to be another topic about the symbolism of numbers and the frequencies and whatnot. But 333 is a really interesting number for me, man. But we'll get into that another day. Shout out Lady Vividly. Yes, man, and bigging up Empress T Fanny. I don't know if y'all lovely ladies want to come through and join in on us. You know what I'm saying? If you want to add on to the conversation. Today we're talking about infidelity. You know, a subject that's often, you know, touchy and sensitive and brings up a lot of emotions, you know, and kind of, you know, could be seen as being multi-layered and, you know, especially in today's day and age and whatnot. So this was a topic that was brought to you by Kemia. So I'm hoping that, you know, the brother will come through and add on because I know he'll have some unique perspectives on that. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. So we'll you know, just get into that. I see some new people that are joining us. Please let us know how you're feeling on a scale from 1 to 10. You know, 1 being not so great, 10 being amazing. We like to keep it interactive, so please add on. Yes. Okay, I see Lady Vividly is going to be joining us. Yes, we got yes.
Nice and big up
in the house coming through, man. It feels like it's like a wrestling, man. We're all tapping in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love it. Respect for coming through.
Respect.
Greetings.
Oh man, shout out to that beanie though, man. That's what's up, y'all. Like,
thank you.
It's about that time, yo.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes, sir. Okay, so I see some folks are already jumping in with the comments.
Yeah, I see.
If you want to go ahead.
Oh, you want to go ahead, or should I read it?
Yeah, go ahead. You got it.
All right. Anand's creation, infidelity happens in cultures that lack accountability and heavily influenced by religion that shame sexuality. There we go. The real DJ Skin, I think, is putting a 2, so that's pretty low. I hope you're, you know, I wish for you to definitely raise the vibe up, that it goes better from there, let's say. and that maybe we can, talk some of that out, because we are here at the check-in. Charmin is giving hearts, and Jesse Irie says, interesting topic. Yes, indeed.
Absolutely, man. Well, okay. Well, before we get into the topic, Mel, we got some guests who just chimed in, and I love that. I mean, this is the community vibe that I'm talking about. We don't know where the conversation is going to go. We don't know who's going to be part of the conversation. Like it just, there's a seamless, just, flow that happens. And I love that we're creating this culture. So big up everyone coming through. Lady Vividly, if you want to check in, let us know how you're feeling on a scale from 1 to 10. And then King Spade can go after that. And then we'll just dive right into the topic, yo.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning. I would say I'm at least, you know what? I'm going to go for a 9. I'm going to go for a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Respect. Yes, man. I see the brother King Spade, man. You want to add on? Let us know how you're feeling. Oh, I think you already let us know. You said like where you're at.
Yeah. I'm feeling like a 10, man, because I see the world. It's already in our hands already, and I'm so excited. I can't wait till everybody wakes up and realizes that happened.
I see you, man. You're just like waiting patiently, man. I feel you though, man.
Yeah.
Like you're like light years ahead, and I appreciate you going back to like collect. That it's the true like Sankofa. You know what I mean? That's like Sankofa. Someone we got to go back and collect what we may have forgotten, and
Yep.
So I appreciate you having that knowledge and being always willing to share, because oftentimes people have knowledge and they keep it to themselves and be like, hey, man, like. You know what I mean? But you're always someone who's willing to share, man. So big up to you for that. Yeah, man. All right, man. So I see Another Creations coming in, bigging up the real DJ Skin, saying, sending you good vibes and hoping your energy rises. Always remember that tomorrow is a new day, man. I love that, man. This is what we talk about. We come in and chime in and support each other, even if we're in the chat, and send that positive vibes. And that's a beautiful reminder to all of us as well. You know what I mean? So like some days we're up, some days we're down. And even when things are going great, we got to like be present and honor that as well, because things can switch up too, right? So, okay. So that being said, in the interest of time, man, today's topic is infidelity, man. And like I said, I was hoping that Kemia would come through. Hopefully you'll come in later, because he wanted to continue the conversation on relationships, like what you had previously. And, like I said, like infidelity is a big topic, we're sensitive topic rather, we're talking about like cheating. We're talking about, lack of, I guess, like integrity or accountability, and, not necessarily being forthcoming with certain actions. And then also like the impact of said actions, so, I guess like, maybe we can start off like how would one like define like infidelity? Because I feel like in today's day and age, like there's a lot of variations of it. And then we can go back in time and figure out like, maybe there's other examples of cultures where they have created systems that are, I guess, like, quote, I was going to say non-traditional, but then again, like there's like ancient like ways of relationships that are pretty traditional depending on where you are geographically on this planet. But from a North American standpoint, there's a certain way that's like that things are presented and how it's supposed to be. And if you're not in that box, then there must be something wrong with you. But we can get into that later, a little bit later down the line. But when it comes to like infidelity, I guess like how would one like kind of like define that? Like what does that look like for y'all?
I would say like breaking a contract in a way based on who you're with.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think.
A contract, an agreement,
Basically.
A set of like understandings of like the function of a particular relationship.
An emotional disappointment.
Okay. So that sounds like infidelity. That's like impacts of infidelity. Yeah. Okay. Emotional disappointment. Okay.
I would say that.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I think like, infidelity does count as like a breach in contract, the contract or agreement to breach in trust. And just to add on like the impacts, could be like devastation. Some people experience stuff that's like very similar to grief, like mourning like the loss of life. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's like that intense. And yeah, for like I said, for a lot of people, it's definitely a devastating experience. And sometimes I think the impact, it makes people question like themselves, like who they are. Makes them question like the integrity of the relationship. Like, was everything fake? Like, or was this like, it makes them question like a lot. you know. And yeah, so I'll just say that for now. Anybody else would like to add on?
Well, fidelity only comes when it only came because we fell off of the laws of nature that surround us every day. One of the laws that we fell off of is called the Zodiac Constitution. The Zodiac Constitution. You can download the Zodiac Constitution and get a PDF of it, where it shows that 100% of us are already married in nature. And because we don't know that and we fell off of our own traditions, we seek people for their looks and their outsides and not really find out what species or beast they are. You know, like it's almost like trying to date a porcupine, and then the porcupine one day stands up on its quills, and then you get mad that porcupines do that. You know, like we keep choosing people that we think is compatible with us through they're funny or they look good and all that stuff. When long time ago, prior to 1906, we are the ones who invented arranged marriages. We're the ones who invented who can work together because of their astrology. So through the Zodiac Constitution, we fell off of our own constitutions and our own principles about love, peace, freedom, truth, and justice. And because we did that, we're left walking around the earth looking for love in all the wrong places, thinking that that you're compatible with this person when you're not, because your sign and the time you were born makes you incompatible. It's, you know, like in all men and women and child, there's a fire, water, air, and earth, right?
Yep.
Now, if you're an earth sign trying to talk to a fire sign, fire and earth don't really go together. They make volcanoes, because the earth is going to become volcanic at some point, and the fire is just going to keep burning. Now imagine you're dating somebody that's a fire sign you didn't know, and it burns you. You got mad. You're mad now. Why are you mad? You didn't know that they're fire, and fire does burn. You didn't know that sign was a water sign and drowned you because it's too much water. You know, so we haven't found ourselves as a people to understand our own constitutions and laws and bring it right back to where it was prior to 1906, where we did everything through astrology and cosmology. That's one of the rules and laws of nature that we fell off of. When we fell off nature and the laws that go behind nature, which is practiced as the 7 Hermetic principles. Once we fell off those two things, it was a wrap. They knew that we're going to start killing each other for whatever and start arguing, divorce. All these things come in because of the fact that people are bounded. They bond themselves with each other, but not really know each other physically.
So you know what, you man, as always, man, you like go like right into it. I like you got that laser beam right to like the source. You know what I mean? Like don't dance around nothing. And you know, astrology is something that I'm into like a lot, and it's very true. It has given me like a lot of understanding of myself and understanding a lot of people. Like, you know what I mean? So oftentimes like people want to know about like their zodiac sign, and for me, I just go right to the elements. I'm like, what element are you? You know what I mean? Because that will give me like a general understanding of how I interact with you. I mean, we could go into like the natal charts and whatever, but I ain't got time for that. But just from an element standpoint, you know, like me being an earth sign, you know what I mean? Like I know how to interact with the different like elements. And what you mentioned too, a lot of the problem is because we don't understand like boundaries and whatnot. That comes with a certain level of knowledge of self. Because it's not to say that, you know, like for me as an earth sign to like interact with anybody who's like a fire sign. It's not to say that it can't happen, but there has to be a certain level of understanding of like how to maneuver. Because when you don't, then like, because you're right, like fire can just, you know, keep going where it's going. But before we get into, because like now we're moving more towards like the solutions, you know what I mean, aspect, which is like deeper understanding. Because oftentimes when we look at you know, infidelity, we look at the other person or whatever, depending on what side you're in. You know what I mean? If you're on the receiving end or the one committing the act, like it becomes this like external thing as opposed to like looking at like internally, you know. And how do we get into this? Because you mentioned a lot of really fascinating points. You know, when we look at chemistry in the sense of like attraction and okay, like, you know what I mean, we like the same things and whatnot. But like when we're thinking like long term, there's a lot more that go into like into that, because technically, as human beings, we can have like chemistry with almost anybody, like on a technical level. You know, that like there's like, you know, someone like myself who has like wide range of interests. Like I can find chemistry with like any and anybody. You know what I mean? So to like, you know, to now go to another level, there has to be like other levels of understanding, right? Because when we don't, as we say, like do the knowledge and have deeper understandings, then like as you mentioned the analogy with the porcupine, it starts doing something different, and you're like, whoa, I never saw this side and whatnot. Yeah. But if you understood that it was a porcupine, that's its nature, like it's going to do that, you know. Mm-hmm. So before we get into like the solutions, right, because this is like deeper, like, you know, broader understandings, you know what I mean, that may be abstract for some listeners. You know, some people may not understand like the impact of astrology, but it's true. Like I found it to be very useful as understanding myself and others, you know what I mean, but myself most importantly, because without self-understanding, it's difficult to move into other spaces and really understand the nature of other people, you know. But before we get into solutions, I'm curious to know, like, what are some, like, I guess, like some of the impacts? And we kind of like spoke about that, you know what I mean, but some of the impacts. So those who are in the chat, let us know some of the impacts of infidelity. We'll get into that. Symbolic, I know that there is some comments. Maybe we can get into those. I might have to scroll up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I know there was, I was gonna kind of start in the middle, but let me see how far I can find.
You gotta make sure we get everybody, man. This is inclusive, yo.
All right.
People took the time out to leave a comment, yo, you get read. You know what I'm saying? You get
added on. You. I was actually responding to a comment in there, and T-Fanny was responding to, you know, there was a little bit of a, okay, let's go. All right. I think. So what's the subject of the dialogue was stated? That was East Side. T-Fanny responded. I don't know if that was the right response, but I see don't chase, just attract, finding additions to our life, but can happen when we know ourselves. And then she said, right, at East Side, infidelity, while I was typing, infidelity is the subject. And then Seed of Soul said infidelity as well. So the chat's active answering that question.
Peace.
Word up. Oh my gosh, this thing is jumping.
I love it.
I think when someone types a new thing. Okay, so must know your own about. Sorry?
No, if you want, like I can jump in and add on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, where'd you say? You said let me see here. Okay, so it says don't change, just attract, finding additions to our life, but can happen when we know ourselves. That's IMT Fanny, absolutely. Charmin was asking, so does it need to be fire plus fire to work it out? And I don't think so at all. Like, I think it's more so about like that understanding, like having that knowledge and then knowing, like it's like playing different sports. You know what I mean? Like if you know you're playing basketball, you're not going to bring the same rules to like golf to the basketball game. Like, you know what I mean? You got to really understand like what you're dealing with. You know, so I don't know if King Spade wants to like add on to that real quick, like a short, quick response to that.
No, you can date anybody. You just have to know what their element is, because you don't want to have that element destroy you. For an example, I remember I used to date a girl, a woman, of course, that was a Gemini, and I learned the same thing that we're talking about a long time ago, and I always wondered, why is this lady can't sit still? Mm-hmm. And I found out that water signs, or I mean air signs, because
right,
Gemini is the air sign, and that air can go anywhere it wants to.
Right.
You can't trap air.
No.
You get what I mean? And once you try to trap air, it's going to try and escape, because that's its nature. So I realized, I go, wait a sec, I can't control air, and trap air. So maybe I should I should look into the astrology and how to work with air.
Right.
I own a law firm, and the people that I've hired, I look at their astrology first before hiring them, because I know that they have certain powers in their astrology to finish certain tasks and works. Like, for an example, people who are Leos, those are natural managers of anything, a business, the managers of a home. So I put those people in managerial sections. Then you have like Geminis, they're finishers. I can give them a task and they'll finish it in seconds. But other signs can't finish it like that. But Geminis can finish it that way because they're mutable signs. So you have to find out, are you mutable? Are you a cardinal sign? Are you a fixed sign? Right. Because the cardinal signs will, like, say you're a cardinal sign and you happen to go talk to somebody that's not a cardinal sign. Your boss, because a cardinal is someone who's like a boss in the zodiac, and those people are going to perceive you as mean, or I can't get along with this person because I can't see this person because they're acting like a boss, like a real boss. It's because they're a cardinal sign, and you can't help that. You can't help a lion being a lion, right?
Proper, yo. Appreciate that, yo. Okay, so we're gonna continue with the chats. I am Tiffany. Tiffany says, must know your own boundaries, man. Absolutely, and we'll probably get more into that in the solution aspect of the conversation. Anante Creation says, we also need to be clear and honest about monogamy. Okay, it's not for everyone or different phases of our life. We complicate our lives with lies and dishonesty. Yo, that's a really like powerful part right there, and that requires a lot of like mature conversation, because not everybody is ready to have that. I definitely believe that there is multiple ways to relationships, and because it's essentially an agreement that works for people involved, whoever's involved, whether it's two or more or whatever. But it's really like an understanding of what that is, and then people come together and have a certain agreements and whatnot. And I do like what was mentioned about different phases of our lives, because there is times when it makes sense, or maybe it's time for you to explore that, and then other times where it's like, okay, like being committed to like one person makes sense, and this is what you're going to be building or whatnot. But having that conversation and those options, I think are really important. And then giving those who are involved like the option of choice, to say, okay, whether this is for them or not. So I agree with the whole like complicated aspect, which like lies and dishonesty do create a lot of things that don't necessarily need to be there and could avoid a lot of problems. And you'd be surprised on like where honesty can take you, because sometimes you may just get what you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's big.
And sometimes you have to lie to people because you have to protect their feelings, because they don't understand that we're not compatible.
Let's get into that right there. That's a really good one. Yo, that's because we're talking about, like infidelity and some of we identify what it is, and now we're getting to like some of the impacts and the problem. Because that's the flip side that often people think. It's like, oh, well, they're selfish and being inconsiderate, and why can't you just like tell the truth? You know what I mean? But like, can you add on to that for a little bit? Like that's
sometimes we are telling the truth because we're not compatible with you. We don't know how to tell you. Grown men, we are little boys. And this goes to all men, including myself. Inside, we are little boys. And when it comes to love, some of us, it's hard to tell that person that no, we're not together. We can't do this. But then, they entertain the fact that, no, you got to be with me. You got. Well, okay. I just had sex with 3 girls last night. Oh, you did? You did? Just to get her out of my hair, just to get her mad enough to say, get lost. Because I'm trying to tell you, I told you numerous times that we're not compatible. We're not down. It was fun when the fun lasted, but not every person is here for me. You see, on the planet, there's soulmates, and then there's your mate. And I'm in search for my soulmates. You may not be in search of that. You may be searching for beauty. You may be searching for the money of people. You may be searching for comfortable spaces. But I'm not looking for that. And if I have to show you, say, look, I don't think we're compatible. Oh, yes, we are. Yes, we are. Oh boy, here we go. And then we have to lie to them.
Interesting, because sometimes like that level of honesty could be seen like, okay, like there's this like fear of like commitment, or you know what I mean, like you're running or something like that. You know what I mean, like running from it or whatnot. But no, that is a big thing, you know, and you know, like sometimes like being like honest is a challenge, and sometimes being honest is just not like received. You know, it's not. So you get caught up in that. But yeah, go ahead, Symbolic.
I was just thinking that the opposite scenario is more frequently like that I've seen, where it's like, yeah, we're together, and that's really in fact, I've done it, and it's the you know, the path to infidelity, which is, yeah, we're together, but not really. Not seeing the commitment in the same way, and not then having that conversation and saying,
right,
like,
because I was going to say, men put the mask on too to women. You know what I mean? It's like to sell the idea that, yeah, let's be together, and then, you know, there's 3 other women too. You know what I mean? But then they have the main person, but they don't tell the main person what their real game is. You know? So.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
You can always see their real game through their sign, because you can't change who you are. I can't change who you are.
That's true.
You're an earth sign. What can I change you to a fire sign? No. So I have to work with what I have there. And if we're compatible, then yeah, we'll talk longer. But if we're not, and you're just here as a moment in time, because you have to remember, there's people that come into your life for just that moment, just to help you fix certain things in your life. And you're not supposed to love them like that.
Right.
You may fall in love with them because they helped you fix something, but it was just a moment that, you know, I helped you fix this thing. I got to go. I got to help other people now. And then you're like, no, you know, it's that tug of war thing. And we really fell off because we didn't understand that we all communicate through the signs and the different degrees. Like, for an example, anybody who's 90 degrees of your sign is your soulmate, and anybody who's 120 of your I should say anybody who's 90 degrees of your sign is your mate, and anybody who's your 120 degrees of your sign is your soulmate. I've worked on that, and I did it myself. I married Taurus. I'm a Cancer, and that makes me a water sign, and she's an earth sign, and we've been together for close to 15 years, and we don't argue, we don't fight, we're not on opposite ends, because when you come to find out the elements that you mesh with, everything works easy. Everything comes out easy, and both of you do your parts, because that's who you are.
Right.
You know, she expects me, because I'm a water sign. Water is just like air. We all over the place. So she has that tolerance in her, that patience to know he'll be back, because he's all over the place. But he's not, you know, he's not sexing 100 people. She just knows that I got to be all over. That's my nature, and you can't stop that. Right. You know, same with her. She's an earth sign. So as a water sign, I have to keep nurturing the earth and keep making things grow and putting ourselves together and doing plans and plant things. You know, people don't look at each other that way. You know, and it's sad, because we are the superpowers. We are the super beings on the planet, and we can get along. It's just you have to know and be able to identify somebody from off the cuff. Right. Off the cuff. Yes. I should be able to look at you and go, he's an earth sign. Right. Let's work together on this angle. Right. I should be able to look at Symbolic and the Empress here and go, this is their signs. If let's say I'm looking at the Empress and she's a fire sign, right? I'm a water sign. I got to be careful dealing with her, because I know that water and fire don't really mix, but they do mix if you're balancing them, because you get what I mean? So I gotta sit down with her and find out, is she a double fire or is she just a one fire? Because I don't want her to out me. Right. Same with vice versa. I can out her. I can drown her because I'm water.
Yeah. No, you know
So I
what?
gotta
Like,
find the balance. Me and her would have to find the balance in how we would work with each other without destroying each other, dousing or burning up. You know what I mean? Because you
right.
can work with all the elements. That's what we're here for.
Well,
We were supposed to learn this in elementary school, believe it or not.
man. Well, yo, man, that's another topic with the education system. but you're absolutely right though, because I always say that, you know what I mean? Like I've done like astrology for my kids, and you know, I have like a 12-year-old, an 8-year-old, and they know their signs and they know the elements and why, like, you know, my younger daughter, like she's Aquarius, you know what I mean? Like, so air
Yeah.
sign, she has to be free up, you know what I mean? My older daughter, she's Cancer, you know what I mean? So understanding like our nature has like created a lot of like peace amongst us, you know what I mean? So
See?
and having that. But what you're saying, you know, speaks to like something that often doesn't come up like in relationships, and about it's like, how do we like feed each other intentionally, not just on like this like desire level? Because I think oftentimes relationship is built on this desire. It's like, what do you desire? Oh, you like this and that, this shiny thing and that. But you're talking about like the core essence of like who we are. Like this is like the ancient understandings of like self, and then how we integrate, not just in relationships, but how we like integrate in life, right? Because the awareness that you're talking about is not just like limited to like, you know, intimate, like romantic relationships and whatnot. You're talking about something that's much better, and having that understanding, I know for myself, has like changed the way of how I like maneuver, you know what I mean? So that, but we're going to hold that for a second, because I know that there's some comments in the chat. Yo, Symbolic, if you want to jump on that real quick.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
You see that?
Hope I'm at the right spot. No, got to keep going.
Oh, we got a lot. Oh, snap, yo. We got to. I mean, if you want, I can just jump into this because I see where we're at.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Seed of Soul is saying cosmology holds a foundation, but there's so many more nuances that lead to infidelity, in my opinion. So we can definitely add to that, like, you know, but you're right, like, you know, I definitely feel, because then, you know, we can go into like childhood traumas and just like different things that were experienced, like environmental, cultural, like there's so many things that like add on to like, you know, the outcome for sure, which we can get into in a second. I just want to get to a lot of comments. Right, so we'll get into that. I just want to make sure that everybody here is adding on. I am Tiffany says, I've been on the receiving end and has a year of finding myself. I think finding yourself is a really important thing. Like they said, the most impactful relationship is the one with self. And I don't mean that in like in a selfish way, but I mean that in like this like understanding, right? Because when you understand yourself, you can like stand firm, and then everything else moves around, and you can understand people, you know what I mean? Like for me, like in relationships, when I started developing more like self-love for myself, when I was trying to find it outside of myself, when I started going inward, it was easy for me to like give and understand and accept people for who they are. I may have ideas of what I want them to be or what I need them to like interact, but I started having more understanding and acceptance and love for who they are, and then also creating healthy boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Keep on going. I see Haiku Production says knowledge is power. Know yourself, and then you can react accordingly. 100%. See the Soul is saying that's factual about air signs. Very free spirit. Like, man, like every.
See how that was? You see how that was? I didn't have to know that person.
Yeah.
Right? And I know what an air sign does.
Yeah.
You don't have to know them. You just have to see how they move for like 2 days and go, oh,
that's
you must be this sign.
Right.
You know? Yes, I am. Okay,
it's true.
Well, we're gonna do things like this because
100%.
I know I don't want you burning me out and all that. That's very important. I didn't have to know you. I just have to see your movements of 2 days and go, oh, okay, and then I can work around it or work with it.
Absolutely. Okay, let's keep it going. Interest of time, I see Seed of Soul saying astrology is very informative. I do think because most don't understand the characteristics they're in, which is true. I see Charmin is saying I really don't know and don't understand why people cheat. If they don't want to be in the relationship or they don't want someone else, just say it to the partner. Why do we need to cheat? I think that we can, I mean, we kind of like answer that again previously, you know, because sometimes like, you know, they may get into a scenario, because oftentimes when relationships start, like no one's like going deep right off the top. Like it's really about like catering to like desires, I feel. I mean, In general speaking, you know, I know there's different levels, but in generally speaking, it's about feeling good and whatnot, you know, and catering to like whatever desires or what we feel the other person may need or want, you know, and offering that, you know. And then as the layers go on, like, you know, you start noticing like certain like little details and this and that, and things start coming up. You start understanding more about their experiences, like their family life, their cultural life, all these different nuances that may kind of shift. But then sometimes we get into the space of fear, where it's like, you know, we may say that you come to a place where it's like, yeah, I don't think it's really working out or whatever. But then, you know, there's this idea of like trying to like make it work or to force it to make it work. And then, you know, people don't want to hurt feelings, so they keep going until they just can't, you know. But just to add to that, like what I've learned is that, you know, relationships can definitely evolve. We may come to an understanding that, okay, maybe we're not best to be like romantic, but we can still collaborate in different ways. There could be like, you know, different ways, because you may come to a realization that this person is important to you, but the way how we interact needs to look a little different based on the understanding of all the different nuances and elements and stuff like that. But that's a definitely great question. Anansi Creation says, yes, free souls, indeed, that's me. I learned to know who I am and who's good for me. That's that boundaries and self-awareness that's critical. So I encourage everyone, man, figure out what your elements are, your sign. You got to know your time of birth, location, date,
Yep.
you know, all that. And then all that, you know, adds into like your natal chart, will give you some like insights into that. You can look at different like astrologers to help you really gain some understanding. And I promise you, it's really profound. Like I've done a few readings and has shown me a lot, because like there's things that we do that we don't understand why we do. It's like, I've been told that this is wrong or this is out of sync, but it's just in me, like I don't know what's going on. And then having these understandings like give you a level of empowerment, so that you know how to work the energy, you know, become an alchemist, you know what I'm saying? Like work the energy and whatnot. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
yes,
we'll keep going. Not to get too deep, but okay. See the soul saying, don't know how it drives behavior. Okay, well, there's a lot. Oh, hold on. Saying she goes saying sorry, my earlier comment was cut off. Okay. I am Tiffany says communication is key. And then another creation saying no, bro, lying to protect feelings is cowardly. Okay. You know, that is definitely an aspect of that for sure. You know, lying is definitely a cowardly move. But I think for us is really about understanding like the why, you know, and understanding doesn't always mean agreeing with it. You know what I mean? So for someone, it could be like, you know, it's protection. You know what I mean? Like if, you know, and there's so many like different levels to delivering like truth, you know, or delivering information, you know what I mean? And, you know, but I'm not going to get into the nuances of that, but like for us in this intention of this space is to create like space of our understanding and seeing different intersections of how we go about it. But yes, I agree that lying is definitely an aspect of being cowardly for sure. Not to like belittle or judge anybody, because I feel like we've all been in these spaces before and we all got to find our intersections of growth. See the Soul goes on to say personality development and character is created by direct experiences. Yeah. So, you know, so this goes back to what we're talking about, like environment, you know, culture, certain experiences, childhood traumas, all these different things go into like why. You know what I mean? Let me see here. Oh man, the comments are going hard right now. I am Tiffany says poly hiding in a monogamous relationship sometimes. Okay, yeah, you know, like you know the poly relationships do exist that are definitely you know out there.
That's where the word husband comes from in nature. Okay. The word husband means to ban family members and have babies all over. And we were doing that prior to 1906. It's just because we're living in, there's two worlds here. There's the artificial world and there's the natural world. Okay. And what we as a people have done over the years, we accepted the artificial world. And we've forgotten the natural world, where the word husband has nothing to do with being husband and wife. It has to do with the male going out there and having polygamy, or having different wives and different women that they impregnate and have a big family.
Well, just to add to that, like, is there like a level of like accountability, right? Because, you know, like I know for some people, like, you know, they may hear that and be like, okay, so the man's can just go off and just do their thing or whatever. But like, what does that like look like? Sorry?
A woman can do the same thing, because that's what wife means, actually means in language. It means that she she helps the husband put these things together. You know, long time ago, we had humongous families, and it wasn't fighting over who was dad and stepdad and all that. We were never like that. It's today we're like that. Today we're like, well, I don't like that guy. He's a stepfather. We don't like him. Today we're so that's mine, and not realize that in order to build a great big family, you have to have more than one matriarch in the family.
Well, this is interesting, right? Because when you're talking about, you know, this ownership and this possession, you know, it reminds me of this article that I saw talking about marriage, and I assume it's coming from like the North American or maybe even like European perspective, but it was associated with land and inheritance, right? So when like a man would marry a woman, it was more so about
business.
It was a business transaction. It was more so about controlling the womb, more importantly than the actual wife, because like the womb is carrying the child who is going to be, you know, essentially taken over. And the idea was, in order to like, and this was a time period where like women were literally seen as property, right? So when you're talking about like the shift, I have to do more research to exactly see the timeline of when this became like cultural. But from this understanding of like, you know, the women losing their last name and then becoming on, and then in order to control that type of like inheritance, right? Because if I'm, you know, establishing my land and the cows and all this kind of stuff to, you know, to produce, I need to know that this is being passed down to like my actual like blood, as opposed to like some other buddy. I need to know that.
Hit it right on the head. The whole thing, matrimony was all business and only business, where you and the wife would manage the estates. Each estate, they knew that back then, one estate, one of your children was worth $1.7 million. So they'll take that estate and put it inside of a trust and go, okay, that's one of our children. Let's have 11. You understand? And put them all to the trust. It was a business deal when it comes to polygamy, not sex. Today we're mundane, and everything to us is all sex and beauty and sex and sex. Back then, it wasn't about no sex. Arranged marriages is about business, to see if the families would flourish and get bigger by putting those estates, that one of them is $1.6 million worth. You put it inside the trust, and they keep doing that. We used to have families. We used to have like 17 to 20 members of a family from one man. You know, if you go up to females and males today and go, "Would you have 20 kids today?" They'll look at you like, they'll look at you sideways like, "What? Are you crazy?" And not know that we're talking about business. That's what marriage is. Marriage is the business. It's not.
So
it's not. I love you. I love you.
I want to tie it back to like where we're at and the infidelity.
Right.
And I'm just wondering, like, okay, it's one thing to say, okay, we need to. Okay, well, what I think that where the anchor in this conversation has been, if I'm to you know, think about it and ponder back, it's about us knowing ourselves. Some of us, like me, are not that into the astrology. Like, so meet me where I'm at, where, and I take what you're saying. Like, I know that there's aspects of the truth in that, because I know that elements are a thing and so forth. So what I'm taking from this is, now when I'm dealing with someone, and by the way, there's a healthy conversation in the chat that
we're gonna get to that.
But what I'm taking is like, okay, regardless of if I know the particular time of my birth, I can say there's something around the vibe of how people roll, and like, just for a tangible today, I would say, like, okay, if I'm meeting someone, then there's something about being about honesty to ourselves, and the integrity that goes along with that, as well as honesty to other people, and not honesty like not seeing them or knowing them. It's like you can get into more, you know, like profiling their character, I guess, is another way to see it if you're not as all in. And then, so yeah, like at that point though, you know, that's what I want to do. I want to come back to, like, why is it, there's a lot around why there is that breach of trust. In some cases, So to go back, a lot of people, me coming up, I was like, yo, I don't need to have one woman, you know what I mean? And I want to, you know, going on to go back to that comment, or now going further in my life, I'm kind of like, I mean, you know, I don't have a one thing lockdown, but I see the value in it more, let's say, you know, a lot more. And it's not like, it's almost, it was, I would say, a bit like youthful. I don't know if it's arrogance or, you know, self-entitlement of men, where, I mean, not that women wouldn't do the same thing, but from like what
women do it differently, though. Women do it differently.
Add on.
I think there's a big difference between the men and women and how infidelity is seen and how you're affected by it. You know what I mean? I think, not to cut you off, it's just that, yeah, like I think when, as a woman, I could say, as for myself, infidelity happens when you're not happy, you're seeing it's not happy, and you're trying and that nothing is working. Somewhere along the line, other options present itself. And it's not that you want to do it, as I said, it just happens. So if anything, like, yes, there are other women that'll do different things, obviously.
Sure.
But a lot of times it's based on a lot of broken promises, a lot of broken situations that after a while, that woman just says, I don't give a shit anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know. I just find on the flip side of it, I find men kind of do it for kicks, to be honest. It's like, because they can, as you were saying, Symbolic, it's like a weird form of like, yeah, I can do it. I can get away with it. I'm a guy. And for a woman, it's like, that's some bullshit. You know what I mean? So depending on who she is, she's going to deal with it in different ways.
No doubt. Appreciate that. I just want to get into the comments, you know what I mean? Because I know that this is like kind of piling up, which I love. Thank you, everybody, man, for your participation. Let me hear. So, Seed of Soul says, honesty and transparency is appreciated. That comes with maturity and experience. True indeed. I Am Tiffany says, is people trying to change their partners instead of organically growing? You know, I think changing is a difficult thing, because I think when you try to change someone, there's going to be a natural level of like resistance. It's either like they're going to be resisting or then go into a place of like submission. And then either way, at some point that could bubble up over, as opposed to like striving to like understand and finding that middle ground, if y'all choose to, you know. Let me keep on going. Anansi Creation says, a breakup doesn't have to be a mutual decision. How people respond is not something we need to own. Woo! That's huge. Whoa. Yo, that's fire, yo.
Yes.
Because especially,
that's what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a one-sided thing, and the other person's like, no, I gotta have you. But I told you that I did so many things to make you hate me, and you still love me? Oh man.
But you have to, but just to add to that,
you know,
trying
to change brothers, trying to change people. And this goes both ways. This goes both ways. Men and women do that to each other. You know?
Yo.
Come as you are.
And just to add to that, a lot of us, you know, including myself, has been in this position of like people pleasing and whatnot. You know what I mean? Being this like giving person and whatnot. So, I like this comment says a breakup doesn't have to be like a mutual decision. You know, and sometimes we're conditioned to think so, because there was all these like great times and you care about the person, you don't want to hurt them. You know what I mean? So it's like, maybe we can work something out and come to like an understanding and whatnot. But that's a really powerful perspective, man. So thank you for sharing that. Let me keep on going. I am Tiffany says, preach vividly. So big up. Charmin is asking another question. Says, so why people don't say before that they don't want a committed relationship? That's interesting. You know, sometimes I feel like, even in my experience, that like relationships don't like start off like that. You know what I mean? It's like, don't come in and be like, this is a committed relationship. It's like things just kind of like, you know, move and they go where they go. And then, you know, that there might be like assumptions, or there might be that conversation and whatnot. Or sometimes there's like also like this fear of like rejection too. Again, I'm not making excuses. I'm just trying to offer like another angle of like understanding as to why certain actions may take place that for some of you listeners may be like, yo, this is just absurd. Like, why do that? You know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff, and sometimes that goes back. I mentioned my childhood, experiences and traumas a lot, because a lot of those stories and narratives that are rooted from that time is how we go through the world, how we see things. You know what I mean? So if there's experiences of like abandonment and whatnot, someone showing you a little bit of love and seeing you and appreciating you, like, you may not want to lose that at all costs. So that's where like lying and deceit may come in. Not agreeing with it, I'm just offering understanding, So there's
I think
a
it's
lot
because
of
we live in a material world.
Right.
And we live in a material world right now, and everything's flashy and all this stuff. But we're not thinking about business. As a child growing up, I never thought about a family as a business at all. It's only when I had a family or, developed my family, I go, oh my God, this is really a business. And I should have known that when I was trying to date all these girls and all this stuff. But I was dating them mostly for the sex.
Right.
And I'll be straight up. Like most men like me, we date for the sex, and we're young and we want to get it out. But we didn't learn from early that getting together with somebody is a business deal.
Powerful.
It's mostly sex. We live in a sex and material world. You know what I mean? She looks better than that girl. Oh my God, I wonder what her sex is like.
Yeah, like it's deep, and I know for some people it's hard to see like like marriage or relationships as like a business, right? Because you want it to be through love and whatnot, and that emotional connection or whatever. So to see it as like a business, it's like, whoa, that's kind of strange though. But it's true. You know what I mean? And like there's to create like a certain like function. And I think like when I look at a business, when people come together for a business, they're creating something that's much bigger than themselves. Like, yeah, they benefit from it, but there's like a larger, like bigger picture. And oftentimes in the North American context, I think when it comes to relationships, like it's this like my relationship is mine. And it's just like kind of putting this box away from everybody. You know what I mean? And it's like we're separate from everything, but not really seeing that, no, this is actually connected to like maybe like a larger community or a larger cause and whatnot. So there's all these different aspects. So
it is
really, really interesting.
It is.
So sorry, there's mad comments. I just want to make sure that we.
Sorry, bro. I'll let you continue, but just for the record, we're in overtime. So
yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna read these last comments just to keep adding on, and then we'll have some final words. This might have to be a part 2, but this has been a powerful conversation. Let me keep on going. Seed of Soul. If you have to lie, it's an automatic indication that there's some shame or dissatisfaction that needs addressing. Oftentimes, discomfort is a pathway for transparency. Beautifully said. I definitely agree with that. And I like how you said discomfort is a pathway for transparency, an opportunity to bring something to the table. Absolutely. Anansi Creation goes on to say, we also need to be honest and accountable about how we engage with people. Sometimes we get with people we have no biz being with 100%. You know what I mean? Sometimes where we get lost in like desire and emotions and not really looking at like the actual cause of things. Let me keep going. Cedar Soul says he also needs to address the chemistry bonds. Oxy, dopamine also play a part in the feeling department. Oh man, we're gonna have to really go into part 2, man. We're already over time, but this is dope because now we're getting to like some of the chemistry of it. Okay, so Cedar Soul is going on to say like that's why like animal husbandry is used. It's gatherings of, okay, and then the Seed of Soul goes on to say the womb is the ultimate production, man. It's the prime legacy. Therefore, they needed the best of the best. Marriage is still a business transaction that hasn't changed. People don't realize that love and emotions are secondary. So saying that marriage is a business transaction and then love and emotions are secondary. We're gonna have to have a part 2 on this, man, because there's a lot. I can see King Spade already ready to jump in, but yo, let me just hold on. So saying that ultimately humans aren't meant to be monogamous. Personally, I think it's conditioning, infidelity from the lack of courage to honor one's needs, in my opinion. Okay. Lack of courage to honor one's needs, and that's like a root of infidelity, which I agree. Like it does take a lot of courage to be honest, and courage and speaking your truth is a revolutionary act, because it's you say your truth and knowing that it could possibly be not received well, it could be devastating, it could cause harm, but you're standing in your space. And I think that's a really powerful place to be. Not an easy thing, depending on the degree, though, but I do believe that it's very, very important. Let me keep going real quick. I am Tiffany says, it's engraved in men from time to have multiple partners. Okay. I am Tiffany says, as women, we are labeled sluts. Okay. So there's different aspects of like shame and you know, social constructs that's coming in here. I am Tiffany says, I like people pleasing. I'm very giving. I don't change myself. I changed my circle. I didn't change myself. I changed my circle. Anansi Creations goes on to say, man, it's boys just having fun, but sex can be fun too, and doesn't have to involve intercourse. Okay, yo, I'm gonna have to read that again, man. These boys just having fun, but sex can be fun too, and doesn't have to involve intercourse. Because now we're getting to like semantics, you know, like words, really, really powerful. Okay, so should always be done safely, healthy, and responsibly. We can let our relationships with sex evolve. Okay, I mean, there's a lot that we can unpack in part two. We're gonna do a part two, man, next week because this is dope. I am Tiffany says, if you sign paperwork, man, it's a business. Yep, whether that's verbal contract or whatever, and especially when you're intimate, like that's, you know, that is a certain level of binding, you know. So. Seed of the Soul says the subject is complex. I appreciate everyone's contributions and personal experience. Thank you. And I see that's pretty much the end of the conversation. So yo, we are gonna do a part two on this, man, because I'm gonna watch this again and make some notes and highlight some things that we can actually build on. But I'm gonna leave it with y'all because I've been talking for a minute to just get some closing remarks, maybe some like quick recaps, some solutions, something to think about. And then we're gonna continue this next week, yo.
Nice. Yeah, this has been lovely. It's all about, you know, sharing the knowledge, being informed, groundation, you know. So yeah, thank you.
Beautiful.
I say my last words is our people need to grow up and grow up early and understand that we live in a world of commercial dealings. It's the world of commerce, and that the only reason why our people are broken homes and broken families is because we're not thinking of life and love and marriage as a business, as a government in your own whole household, your immediate government before the government that you have to take care of and grow. If people get back to that mind of business again, then we'll be back into our wealth again, like we used to be prior to the 1906.
Okay, man.
So thank you for having me too, by the way.
Oh man, always, man. Like I appreciate your mind and your perspective, and really just giving us something to really, you know, think about and giving us homework, man. You know what I mean? So big up. I know Symbolic, man. You have any last words for us before we sign off?
Yeah, well, I would just say big up to everyone in the conversation. It's enlightening. You know, I love what's said about, you know, looking like we do Sankofa, looking into the past, but I love how this conversation just grounds us around thoughts of like, okay, who am I? Like, what are the tangible things we can do right here, now, today, and say, you know, am I really thinking about seeing the other person? Do we really have an understanding, or is there some kind of ambiguous thing where it's like all of a sudden, like, oh shoot, no, that wasn't a relationship. Yes, it was. And so I think these are all things that, you know, at least to me, I'm especially getting, you know, growing up, getting older. I try to be just do better than mistakes that I've made in the past, you know, in hurting people and so forth. So I really appreciate, like I said, meeting me where I'm at. I'm not like reading into everyone with either numerology or signs. Like I'm not like a hater on it. I'm just like, I'm kind of chill on it. Like, okay, I know this pattern. So I appreciate this conversation is all I want to say. I'll pass it to you, Elijah.
All right, man. That's what's up, man. I just one last comment. I see. I think I am Tiffany was asking if Vividly and Symbolic are Earth signs. Are you two like Earth signs?
Of course, I'm an Earth sign.
Okay, Symbolic. What are you? You don't know? Oh, you keep it a mystery. Okay.
Water.
Water. Okay, all right.
Spicy water, right? Because fish are in the water. And anyways, I'm a low type of guy.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Just so y'all know, I am definitely an Earth sign, but you know, I'm Aquarius rising, so I have like that air element too. But like again, I don't want to get too deep into the astrology, but I do have a bit of that duality. You know what I'm saying? So okay, last comment, and then we're gonna sign off. I see Sharjek's experience says people also need to be accountable and stop making excuses. Absolutely, and that accountability also comes with what we're talking about, that understanding of self. Because it's hard to be accountable when you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when you take all this information, you know, that's why we're so big on knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Once you have that, then you can make, like, you know, informed decisions. But it's hard to make a decision when you just don't know. Otherwise, you're just floating. You know what I mean? So I definitely believe accountability, but I also believe that there's also a process too. Not to make excuses, just offering understanding, right? So Symbolic says your contributions are always, you know, I see some stars, you know what I mean? Some sparks and stuff. And I see the soul saying cosmology, you know, cast the communication. And that is that for now, man. So big up to everyone. For me, my last words is like, I just love the fact that we can have these, you know, sensitive topics of conversation and still be respectful for each other, especially like, you know, as you know, as people of African descent. I was going to say black, but then I know King Spade's going to give me that look, man. Like, you know,
not black.
You know what I'm talking about, like people of our community. Oftentimes we don't have these conversations. You know what I'm saying? Where we can like speak to each other like through love and respect, and even if we disagree, like that's okay too. You know what I mean? So I want to see more of these spaces, and as Stone from Africa, we're gonna continue to do that every Monday, man. You good, fam? That's what's up. Peace and blessings to everyone for coming through. Mad love. We're gonna do a part 2, man, next week. This was big. Thank you all for joining us, man, and we out like that. Peace, y'all.
Respect.